This is a work of fiction. Ah, eine Fantasiewelt. This game contains great, gracious violence and death. Oh, Tod und Gewalt. And all the events of the story really happened, but only in the world you are going to witness. Okay, also es ist alles Fantasie. None of the events happening in this game are in any way endorsed or encouraged by the creator. Also macht es nicht nach, was hier passiert, okay? Press any key to agree and continue. Ich nehme den A-Knopf. Ah. Ah! Aha. Oh, ein Blutmond. Mira le Moon. Oh, die Musik ist mal cool. Gefällt mir. Oh, wow. Hi, wer bist du denn, Mädel? Wie geht's dir? Ich mache die Musik ein bisschen leiser gerade, weil die ist ziemlich laut. Actually, ich mache es einfach mal an meinen Headset leiser. Klick, 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 klick. So. Fertig. Was haben wir denn so? Music. Ich mache mal Music so. Sound manchmal lauter. Und Speech manchmal noch lauter, damit die Speech immer hört. So. Save and Go. Windows, Slow, Text. Perfekt. Save and Go. Oh, neuer Typ. Hallo. Willkommen bei Head as Code. Ein Spiel, das ich schon länger im Auge habe und jetzt ist es soweit. Es gibt noch einen zweiten Teil davon, aber der wird noch ein bisschen warten. Es ist ebenfalls ein Spiel wie zum Beispiel Your Turn to Die oder Zodiac Trial. Das heißt, es ist auf Englisch. Wer Englisch kann, der ist hier genau richtig. Und es ist ein Psycho-Horror-Death-Game-Rätsel-Flowchart-Spiel. Hier, Flowchart. Von daher, es wird mir was passieren, also seid bereit. Und wir drücken auf Start. Darkness. More darkness. They say life begins with darkness and ends with darkness. That's probably way more philosophical than my situation was then, because my life had already begun many summers ago, and as far as I was aware, hadn't ended yet. Something else had to have been the cause of this darkness. Clearly, all of this was explained by the fact my eyes were simply closed. I'd dozed off earlier, and now I was waking up. That's all. Something did bother me about the predicament. The surface I was on wasn't a bed. While comfortable, it didn't feel like a bed. My eyes shut wide open at the realization I was on a couch. I sleep horribly on couches, which was why I made a point of never doing it if I could avoid it. I sleep also. Something very unusual must have happened for me to consider it. From behind, I spied 3 people. They were discussing something with the utmost urgency. Their tones were hushed, as if they were trying to ensure they couldn't be overheard. Did I have any cause for concern? No, that's too paranoid, even for me. They most likely just didn't want to wake me up. I had a feeling that was the case because one of them was Jasmine, and she had no reason to keep anything from me. We really have to go soon, so I'll keep watch over him if you both decide to go. You don't have to worry. Nothing bad will get through me. Then again, her words implied she was my jailer. I hadn't seen her face to face since maybe 4 years ago now. Truth be told, I missed the times I spent with her before. That's right, she's my childhood friend. Yeah, nothing more. Except now, she lived on the other side of the country, unlike the boy next to her, who was named Marco. He lived much closer to me. We shared an apartment, after all. Once again, we were friends, nothing more. I don't know. Judging by what we've seen of the stuff in this place, do you really think that's safe for either of you or him? He was in disagreement with her plan. His words, unlike Jasmine's, eased my mind about my predicament. She was not, in fact, my jailer. Honestly, though, I wouldn't have minded that. Wait, what did he mean by not safe? Where exactly were we? If I was here with Jasmine and him, it couldn't have been so bad, but I thought maybe I should ask him. Maybe he would have some answers for me since he's pretty smart. Or would he make fun of me by turning it into a joke, like he always did? At least I knew I could depend on him. After all, he's got a master's degree. Oh, and some weird stuff that sounds like mathematics. Algebra? I forgot what it was, obviously, it's not that. I wasn't awake enough to remember it now. Instead, I tried to remember what could have brought us here. Were we in the landlord's office? Oh, my head hurts so badly. I had issues remembering anything. Looking around once more, I noticed we were in some kind of bar, or at least there was a counter with some stools. Yeah, that wasn't the landlord's office. The decoration could have used a little touch-up. There was a very strange painting on the wall. You don't know what you have till it's gone. Du weißt nicht, was du hast, bis es weg ist. It looked like a cross with ominous words around it. It read, "You don't know what you have till it's gone." A chill went up my spine as I read the words in my head. This entire place was giving me the creeps, now that I was awakened to take it all in. Oh, the little boy woke up. Little boy? I looked at my body and only to realize I wasn't little. I was 24. That man, though, I didn't know who he was, but he was much bigger than I was. Judging by the gray hair, he was in his 50s, perhaps? You're finally awake. That solves our little problem. I hope we didn't wake you up. No, it's okay. I didn't sleep very well. It sure won't beat the bed you just got last month. And by the way, you still owe me for that, remember? I absently-mindedly nodded, but Jasmine changed the topic. I was thankful for that, since I didn't want to be reminded about my depths right now. Anyway, Em and Ray came back from exploring a new area earlier while you were asleep. We should all probably head out and find a new place too. Some words she said didn't make sense. Em and Ray? I had to assume M was Mark was M, and this guy was Ray. But why call Marco M? I was very lost, so I simply nodded, masking my confusion. Yeah, a new place after heading out. Makes sense. Even Simon, cool. Simon says! Haha! A part of me wanted to believe this was a weird dream. It was probably the cowardly part of me. The same part was also telling me to not let them know I wasn't up to date with the recent events. Unfortunately, where others might have cried at that part, I listened to it. I always listened to it. It might have been a little on the nose to admit to myself how cowardly I was, but if there was one thing I couldn't hide from, it was that. I knew I was a coward, even if I didn't look the part. Yeah, we didn't find anything new. Makes me wonder if all this is just some kind of waste of time. We still don't have a single clue to the whereabouts of that ninth person. Whatever. The sooner we explore more, the sooner we'll be out of here. I'll take the pub with me again. You can go with your girlfriend. They're good for you. Girlfriend? Wait. I didn't know what happened before I slept, but I mean, I was not really opposed to it either because she's cute and... what was I thinking? The man almost got me flustered there for a moment. It would be far too embarrassing to reveal that. I did have feelings for her, kind of. Maybe? Oh, I actually was embarrassed. Shit, there was no hiding it anymore. Now, I felt like an embarrassed, clueless teenager. Get a grip, Simon. I just had to say something before my cheeks got any redder. She's not... It's not like that at all. Are you letting his teasing get to you this much? Let's just take the train and go to a new station already. Unless you want to stick around here for a little bit. I took a sidelong glance at her and noticed she looked as rosy as I was. I didn't think it was fair to her to blame me if she was also embarrassed. Marco stayed quiet, apparently thinking about doing something horrible. I felt an incredible need to leave before he opened his big mouth again. Thankfully, I was saved by the imposing man. Cursed and saved by the same man in the span of 2 minutes? That's ought to be some kind of record. Whatever, listen. I'll go ahead and when you're all done here, send the punk to me. Don't take too long. I hate wasting time and I hate waiting even more. Charming little fellow. Ray left the lounging area. In the distance, I could hear the noise of his steps getting fainter and fainter. Some creaking revealed he was going down a flight of stairs. This Ray person didn't seem too friendly, so I took my mind off him by turning my attention back to Jasmine and Marco. The letter was a little deflated by what I assumed was Ray calling him punk over and over. Yeah, can't wait, but it sounds amazing. Woo! Yeah. Hey, JNS, are you sure you want to head out together? Either of you care to mix it up a little? Jasmine categorically shook her head. Nope. Well, I'll go right down there too, menu. Anyway, I'll take the side he didn't go to. When you're done, come down there, okay? And just like that, after a brief wave, she was gone too, leaving me with Marco. He looked back at me, uncertain of how to proceed. Don't make her wait too long. But we probably have a minute. I don't want to make Ray wait too long for sure. You heard him, right? That guy could destroy me with a well-placed punch. That would at least give me enough time to talk to Marco a little, if I wanted to die due to a horrible joke or two. Or, I guess I could also head out to join Jasmine right away. Do you need a quick tutorial on active searches? Yup, too. I could do without it. It'll be short anyway. I could do with it. Sometimes, there will be moments for you to decide the order in which events happen. These numerous interactive segments will be called active searches, or AS for short. Okay. By making choices during these segments, you can have Simon look at some things. You can also choose to talk to characters and get their input when available. This special choice icon will appear for those moments. The look icon will never progress the story. It is only used for supplementary information. However, you may need to select it to find a talk or use icon to progress. Talk, use. Both the talk and use icons are used to progress the story in different ways. The talk icon will be necessary when talking to a character and to trigger dialogue. The use icon will do what it says. It will use the object in question. Note how the talk icon does not necessarily progress the story, but use will always do so. Okay. Once you've selected anything in this playthrough, the game will save it. Or in any subsequent playthrough, they will show up as this to let you know you already selected them. Note that you may need to reselect some of them to progress, even if they show up as done. This is only an indication that you've read the text at least once before. Das ist hilfreich. For this first AS, it is not complicated, as there are only two options. You can either talk to Marco or look at, then use the stairs, which will continue the story. Most of them will have something to let you bypass them if you wish to merely skip them. However, you may miss bits of extra information if you choose to ignore these segments. They are mostly optional, so you don't lose much if you wish to skip them. Nein, wir machen alles! With one exception. When Simon is within the escape room, the active searches are obligatory. Do you want to go through this tutorial again? Nah, no thanks. This was long enough already. Okay. Was haben wir denn so hier? Hey, M? I keep telling you, Marco's fine when nobody's around, Simon. Was? Achso. Okay. Apparently, we're just using these nicknames in lieu of all the real names, just so we don't, honestly, I don't know. Jay came up with that. I'm just like, nobody here has a name that starts with the same letter as mine, or it would be terribly awkward. Yeah, that wasn't too smart. On the other hand, it could also be sweet. You know, like Eminem. I shook my head. No, I didn't know, and I didn't want to know. Everything he touches turns into a joke. Kind of like Midas, who had the power to turn anything he touched into gold. I didn't want to be turned into a joke myself, so I saluted to part from him. Yeah, I should head out too. Ray will get mad. I wondered why he was named Ray and not something like R, but that would be like admitting I was a lost little lamb, and that's really not cool. The last thing I wanted to do was to give him even more ammo for stupid jokes. Since Marco went back to hanging around in silence, I left him be. Okay, kann ich speichern? Nö. Ah, doch kann ich, hier unten. Nee, quit. It wouldn't be a good idea for me to postpone joining Jasmine down the stairs, so I moved as if to leave the place. I'll see you later then. Remember, you owe me a pizza every week for the next 6 months. I'm not gonna let go of this time. Marco's words remind me of something. I focus on that while grumbling some farewells back at him. From my uniform side pocket, I pull out a cap, which I nervously adjusted back onto my head. I kept it stashed away whenever I could, but right now, it might give me some courage. My boss wasn't here, thank God. If he saw me without a cap on, he'd probably give me a truckload of swears. Normally, I hated wearing the damn thing. And here, it was kind of comforting, at least a little. It was comforting because it was one of the few things that felt normal. I went down the flight of stairs, on the opposite side of the one Ray took earlier. There was some kind of little lobby between the stairs and what was beyond. Stepping outside, I found myself in the last area I had thought I'd merge into. I was in the metro? It was the underground train stations connecting sections of Montreal together through multiple colored lines. The more I looked around the station, the more this didn't make any sense to me. I gave up trying to understand exactly where the hell I was, because no matter what the station this was, I knew for a fact none of them had a spacious bar upstairs. At least there was no open bar like that, directly after taking the first flight of stairs. That didn't make any sense. Jasmine came out of nowhere, having patiently waited for me down here. Earlier, the others said they went out to the infirmary. So we're probably going past that now. Guess we get some time to kill before the train arrives, huh? Straight to the point, not even hello. I assumed this place didn't really have her in a jolly mood. I was completely lost, so I just nodded. However, I had a feeling Jasmine had picked up on my confusion. Taking a glance to the other side of the station, I saw Marco and Ray in the distance. Well, like she said, we had some time to kill before the train arrived. I was curious about the place, so I could either look at stuff or talk to her. I probably need to talk to her sooner or later, so it's just a question of when. Oh, so viele neue Sachen. It was too dark in there. I could barely make out some kind of weird metallic gate. If Jasmine wasn't going in, then I assumed it was locked and searching it wouldn't help me in the least. Next to the little maintenance hall was a yellow stripe on the ground, which stretched across the entire border of the station. If I stepped beyond it, I'd fall down into the rails. Those were the rails used to guide the trains around. They're pretty dangerous. A sign next to them said 75 volts. 750 volts. Yikes. If I touch that, it will kill me for sure. Danger, staff only. That's what it said. That little maintenance hall was shrouded in darkness. That's where the staff usually went to fix all of the subway's problems, whenever it had any. Unless we had some sort of key, we wouldn't get back there. Only maintenance dudes were allowed to go in, so I had no idea what was inside. That wasn't the last time I came in here. All the screens used to be suspended, but this one was mounted on the wall with 4 mega large screws behind it. Currently, it was powered off. That TV was bigger than any other I'd ever seen. Clearly, that must have cost a fortune. Marco would lose his mind if I brought something like that back home. Especially as it would be considered theft. On second thought, it was best to just not mess with it. Funny, I didn't remember the walls being like that in any station I'd seen. I hadn't visited all of them though, so maybe that's just how the station was. Station walls certainly varied wildly depending on where you were at. Some of them had brick walls, while others were tiled. Some were pristine, some were decorated with graffiti. Some of them were featureless, and some of them had ads all over the place. Most of them did, to be fair. There was the open doorway we used to access the metro to. The door was thick and heavy looking. It was a sliding door, so from here it looked like a solid block of metal embedded inside the wall. Und wir können mit ihr reden, okay? Hallo. Achso. You've been acting a bit lost. Are you sure you're all okay there? I didn't really know how to tell her. On one hand, I didn't want her to find out I had no clue about what was going on when they all clearly did. It would make me look like I didn't have my stuff together. On the other hand, I was at a severe disadvantage not understanding. But see, it's like that. I'm a little lost right now, to put it simply. Like, I just woke up but I have no idea how I even got here. Luckily for me, Jasmine was a kind person who always had my back and she listened. Finally understanding what nagged at me, she began explaining in vague terms. I think I know what you have right now, and that sounds like amnesia to me. It's probably super dangerous if I go too fast, due to how the memories are like locked right now or something. I'll just take it slow, then assuming it's temporary. I guess I can explain the minimum to you just so you know and understand enough, at least. If you say so. I don't really know much about amnesia, but I still want to know what's going on. Where is this place? Who's Ray? Jasmine nodded comprehensively. We proceeded to move to a more open area of the station, so she could tell me everything while we waited for the train. Aber das machen wir im nächsten Part erst. Der erste Part ist so ein kleiner Anblick, was passiert. Und jetzt wissen wir es. Wir sind anscheinend in einer U-Bahn, wo es noch ganz, ganz seltsam wird. Mit Jasmine, Ray und Marco. Und ich bin Simon. Okay, das wird spannend. Ein neues Spiel beginnt. Und ich hoffe, ihr seid dabei. In Part 2. Tschüss.